G'day guys, today we're in the kitchen with the one and only Mamma Maria. What's happening today in the kitchen? What are we making?
Oggi facciamo i gnocchi.
Gnocchi, alright. And what? We're going to buy the gnocchi in or we're going to make them from scratch?
No, li dobbiamo fare a mano.
Okay, alright, so that means we're going to be making them all by hand from scratch. And what sauce are we going to do with the gnocchi?
Facciamo il sugo rosso.
Okay, and that, what's that involved?
E c'è aglio, basilico e prezzemolo.
Okay, so garlic, parsley, and basil. And the tomatoes here, why are they whole?
Perché così c'è meno acidità.
Alright, so less acid in the tomatoes. Let's start making it.
Va bene. First we put a potato to boil.
Okay.
And to see when they're ready, do with the knife. Taste with the knife, like this. They're not ready yet.
The knife has to go all the way through the potato.
Through, yeah. My mother teach me everything.
There you go. So is my mum. See? Potatoes are up, they're boiling away. So the next step is to make the sugo. So what would you like me to do? I'm your assistant today.
Chop everything you see here. Basil, parsley, garlic.
What are you going to do?
I'll crush the tomato.
Okay, we're going to crush the tomato. Finely chopped, rough chopped. How do you want them chopped?
Not too fine.
Not too fine?
Normal.
Alright, beautiful. So why are you doing that? Why don't we just put in a blender? Make it easy for us.
Now you can see the little piece of tomato on the gnocchi.
Alright. What about the taste? Does it taste to anything? Like, does it make it more tastier?
Sì, il pomodoro rimane abbastanza solido quando si cucina e quando si cucina ancora esce il sapore del pomodoro.
Okay, so what she said was we're doing it by hand because we basically want to leave the tomatoes in a pulper state. So when the tomato cooks, it remains in little pieces, and then when you put on the gnocchi, you got the beautiful little pieces of tomato still visible on the gnocchi. That will give you a really, really good flavour when you're eating because you got the gnocchi, you got that beautiful tomato coming through. We're going to see if this is actually true, but wait for it. So, you made me do all the prep work. You've crushed the tomatoes. So what's next?
Ora cominciamo a fare il sugo.
Okay, so what do I do?
Metti l'olio a riscaldare.
Okay, so put a bit of oil in the pan.
Yeah.
How much?
Un paio di cucchiai.
Alright, so a couple of tablespoons.
Poi si butta l'aglio, prezzemolo e basilico.
Okay, alright, so now we're going to do our garlic. What can I do now?
Aggiungi un po' di pepe.
Bit of pepper, yeah. Okay, we're ready for the tomato?
E ora è pronto per il tomato.
Beauty. Oh, look at those pieces of tomato. The tomatoes have been put in. What do we have to do now?
Aspettare che si consuma un po' il pomodoro e nel frattempo facciamo i gnocchi.
Okay, so roughly how long?
Una mezz'ora.
Alright, so about half an hour. This is what the pulper does to you. It gets ya. Alright, Mark, so it's been about an hour that they've been boiling. So what do we do now? What's the golden rule? What's the golden test to see these potatoes are all good to go, ready for squashing?
If the knife go right through, they're ready.
Alright, let's test that. Let's see if the theory is right, alright? She's on the money. Potatoes all nice and ready to go. Now, do not tip them into here, otherwise you'll break potatoes. You have to actually place them in, and they will be almost ready for squashing. All right, so Mark, the potatoes, we've taken them out of the water, air dried for a couple of minutes, just so the steam comes off them. You've given me this little gadget here. So what do I do with this, Mark?
Schiacciapatate.
Schiacciapatate. It's called the potato squasher. All right, so I'm gonna grab the potato. Straight in our hand, little potato squasher. Lid down. Do not face it upwards, otherwise you're gonna get potato all over your house. Straight into the bowl. Okay. So nice and firm. You're gonna be pushing down, and that's your schiacciapatate. remove the skin, and repeat until they're all done. Alright Ma, so you've made me squash all the potatoes. We've waited 45 minutes for them to cool down. What happens now? You're making a mess all over my bench now.
Ora si rompono 2 uova.
Alright, so we're making 2 eggs. What do the eggs do?
Aiuta a legare l'impasto.
Okay, so it's like a binder that holds it all together.
Si mette un po' di sale.
Okay, a little bit of salt. This is obviously just to flavour the potato.
E un po' di olio.
Basically, we're combining the eggs, the flour on the base, the potatoes. We're combining it all together at the moment. And very soon we're going to start adding flour, and that will start creating the firmness of the gnocchi. All right, so my job today is the flour man. So add your flour in very slowly. Don't add too much flour in at a time. The more flour you add, the more harder the gnocchi are going to be. So try to obviously make the gnocchi with the least amount of flour as possible. Now, the hotter the potato, this is a handy trick for everyone at home. The hotter the potato, the more flour the potato is going to want to take to dry it up. So let your potatoes cool down before you do add the flour. So how do we know when it's ready, Mum?
Quando è tutta ben legata insieme, farina e patate.
Okay, so when it comes all together, it's quite. It has a firmness to it, but it doesn't feel like gluten. It feels more just like, let's say, a hard pillow. So what happens now? So with the log, how are we going to get something this big into something this big?
Ora ti faccio vedere.
Okay.
Si prende un pezzettino, si porta sulla tavola.
So guys, you want to be cutting just a small piece off the main log, right?
Yeah.
And what you want to do is you want to start rolling out the main piece. Now, the thickness of the gnocchi, it's personal preference. There's no golden rule. Is there a rule to gnocchi? How big they are, how small they are?
Dipende come gli piace, no?
It's personal preference. You can make your gnocchi as big or as small or any shape you like. So, pretty much what we're doing, they're about so thick. So, in millimeters, I would say they're about 20 millimeters wide, okay? And then let's just say 20 millimeters in length. All right, guys, so all the gnocchi are all cut up. I think I've done a good job. What do you reckon, Mum? Did I do a good job?
Abbastanza.
Abbastanza in Italian means it's good enough. So I'll pass the test. So we've got some water boiling here. All
La salviamo l'acqua.
right, so about a handful of salt. The pot just over halfway. Now, obviously your pot needs to be, the water needs to be boiling. If you put it in water that isn't boiling, the gnocchi will go to the bottom and they won't rise. So now when the gnocchi do come up and they're floating, that's when the gnocchi are ready to go. Can I try your sauce? Wow, that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right, so now what we're gonna do, now that the water's boiling, we're gonna grab our gnocchi and we're gonna put them straight in.
Yeah. Done.
Next one. All right. So we basically want to keep that water boiling as much as we can. So it's been about 30 seconds. We've had it rise in our gnocchi. So now we're gonna obviously put them together with the sauce. So as you can see, they've all come to the top, all right? Once they come to the top, let's get them out of the water. Because the longer they sit in there, the softer the gnocchi are gonna go, and the more mushy they're gonna go. So you want them just up and out. Okay, so we're gonna put them straight into our sauce. Give the sauce a bit of a mix with the gnocchi, and then we're gonna serve them up, and let's see how good Mamma Maria's gnocchi are. so there you have it. It looks pretty good.
Assaggiali ora.
You go first.
Perché? Grazie. So good.
Good? Spot on. There you go. That's how you make homemade gnocchi from the one and only Mamma Maria. Thanks, Mum. Thanks for coming over and teaching me how to do gnocchi.
Anytime.
Stay tuned for our next video, guys.